Oil prices are climbing again as the U.S. military begins its blockade of Iranian ports and the Strait of Hormuz. Since late February, shipping through the strait has stalled, setting the price of oil on a volatile trajectory. We want to bring in CBC's senior business reporter, Peter Armstrong, who joins me now with more on this. You know, there was a brief reprieve when we saw that talks were happening. Now those prices have spiked again. What does this mean?
Well, it means that we have basically a catastrophic situation in global oil markets that's going to get a little worse. And it's going to get a little worse over the course of today. That's going to add to being a little bit more, it'll get worse for every day this drags on. The thing to sort of keep in mind here is the world generally consumes about 100 million barrels of oil a day. Right now, we're allowing about 85 million barrels of oil a day to get out into world markets. Some of that's shut in, some of that's just blocked. Now we're going to have a little bit more blocked. And at the end of the day, that difference between 100 million in what we use and 85 million in what's being provided is crashing into economies. And it's hitting different economies in different ways, right? The physical shortage of oil is being felt differently in Bangladesh and Pakistan, mostly just because they're closer to the Persian Gulf than it is in Australia or in North America. But all of those places are beginning to feel it. All of those places are going to feel it yet more as a result of this blockade. And all of those places are going to feel it much harder for literally, Arthi, for every day this goes on.
So with that in mind, let's break it down for Canadian consumers as well. How are they feeling the impact of this every day?
Well, if you're in British Columbia, the average price of gasoline is 195 cents, $1.95 per liter. So we're already feeling it. But, I was just on a family trip with my kids, and everybody we talked to at the Toronto airport, while we were abroad, everywhere we went, people were asking, and they asked me as though I had some kind of expertise in this, what's going to happen to jet fuel prices? What's going to happen to the price of your plane ticket? What's going to happen to all of these things? And the only thing I can say is they're bad now, and they're going to get worse for every day this drags on. And I sound like a broken record because, I think there is a sense here that markets and energy markets and stock markets are not fully pricing in how catastrophic this can be. I interviewed Rory Johnson, the great energy analyst, a little while ago, like 3 weeks ago, in which he said there was a discrepancy between how markets were reacting to this to what the sort of actual severity of the situation was. And his line to me was that it is so catastrophic that markets simply don't believe that it will continue to get worse. And yet, as I say, that was 3 weeks ago. It has gotten worse for every day that has dragged on since then. We've got something like a 700 million barrel hole in the world economy right now that just isn't being delivered. And when you're not getting that, everything else starts to suffer, whether it's diesel to ship stuff, to get deliveries on the ground, container ship fuel, jet fuel. All of these things are only going to continue to rise. This is only going to get worse until some kind of a solution is brought to board.
Especially with those U.S. military actions in the Strait right now. Thank you for this, Peter. That is CBC senior business reporter Peter Armstrong.